Behind the Walls by Security Vision. Security and more. A whole lot more. Welcome to Behind the Walls. It is the podcast from Security Vision. Michele is here and Kyle is here. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, one of the things that is so important right now, affordability is a big issue. My electric bill has not stayed the same. And some of the things that Security Vision can help with is controlling energy costs. And I'm kind of curious to explore that a little bit. Let's talk about how we might help on energy bills and other economy measures.
So there's a lot of things we can do within our security platform. As we kind of say, security is not only security anymore, it's about creating that smart home and all the things that can tie into it in the rules that you could set through your traditional panel that we start with when we always start with a security system in a house. So from there, the things that we can add on are things that can help with the security. Of course, so you can replace your thermostat that we can control, tie into. You can adjust that settings to say, this certain time of day when you're not home, you want the temperature to be at a certain temperature, but at night you like a little colder, so you want to bring it down. That way you're not running the system fighting when it's 90 some degrees outside and you're trying to keep it cool when nobody's there. So is kind of step number one of what we tie into.
Now, when you talk about the panel, you're installing your own panel?
Our own security panel is the hub. It's the brains of your security system. It's the brains of the smart home devices as well.
And where does that go?
Traditionally, it's a good-looking touchscreen keypad that would go, either in your main kitchen living room area. It could go by your garage entry door. It could go by your front door. Typically nowadays, because there's so many other things you can add on security, like keyless entry door locks, your phone virtually becomes your keypad, your smart keypad as well. You do not have to have it right by your entry door anymore. So because you can add cameras, you can lock your doors, you can control your lights, you can do other things with it, it's now usually more closer to the kitchen area. That way if somebody rings your doorbell, you can see who's there by looking at your keypad and not having to find your phone. Or
this is kind of science fiction-y. It really is. But in terms of costs, it's more than just the thermostat.
True. So there are other things.
Which all those, that's a big issue.
Yeah. So that's kind of step number one that we kind of talked about. The other thing is about the things that are running. So let's just say you have you have certain waterfalls, or you have a sprinkler system, or you have other things that are using energy, and you don't want them to run at certain times of day. Again, we can put in controllable switches or outlets that you can make them smart. So now you can set a schedule as to when you want certain things to run.
This is through the panel.
Through the panel. Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't have to do anything once it's set.
Nope. You don't have to do anything.
Well, and it's a very big thing down here in Myrtle Beach area, because our electric company now charges you extra from 3 to 6 in the peak time.
Now,
and then it'll flip flop in the winter. But so to be able to control those devices and turn them on at a certain time and turn them off at a certain time, like pool controls, which is a huge, down here, with the pools and the pool heaters and pool chillers, to have that running during the peak hours kills your electric bill.
So you set it up where automatically, for example, right now, it'll turn it off at 2:59.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn it back on at 6:05 or whatever that may be.
Yeah, and that's huge for energy savings. And we also do. And if you have other devices that are not within our security platform, we do control systems that are separate from security that are part of the home automation. And they have a much bigger catalog of devices that we can use to control in a smart home system.
Okay, talk about that, because I'm not sure which you're talking about. So home automation Meaning
control pretty much of everything that is controllable. So your lights, your shades, your coffee maker, your faucet. If you have a Moen faucet, you want to turn the shower on before you get out of bed. You can put those on an app with the control system.
So my alarm clock goes off at whatever, and then I program it to the shower.
You can set schedules to turn your outside lights off, your inside lights on, lock certain doors. We do multiple control systems, some voice, and we use Control 4 for a lot of products, a lot of the coffee makers and the pool equipment and the shades and all that stuff.
And some of the bigger draws, like hot water heaters, is that something you'll...
So there are, what do you mean as far as monitoring them?
Well, or I've heard that you don't want them heating during the peak hours.
Yeah, we haven't really done with those. But again, if it's controllable, if we can control it, we can set schedules for it.
Somehow you're tying into all of this.
100%.
I mean, I've heard things like, TVs are never really off, and you can pull the power down to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Their draw is pretty minimal.
What are the big draws? What's really sucking?
Any heating element is the biggest draw. Like your hot water heater, your heat pumps, your pool equipment heaters, a dryer, a washing machine, anything. Really, the heating element is the biggest draw on the electric in your house.
And somehow you'll be able to help coordinate the times that they are
correct
using sucking the most energy.
Yeah. Instead of saying, oh crap, I'm at work and I forgot to, set the hot water heater to a certain time, and it's running. Our kids are home, they're taking showers and stuff like that. And
right, and some of this is teaching kids, I'm turning the hot water heater off until such and such a time.
So, but it is controllable. So now that is adding to your experience in your home, a better experience.
Right, and dropping your energy costs. Or water costs. I mean, I was yesterday talking to some people who said their water bills are going through the roof. Well, we're watering our lawns. And there's peak times now with water usage.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to be out there watering your lawn at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
No.
And we can set alerts to as well. So let's say if your water is flowing and the parents want to know that the kids are there doing something, they could be alerted and say, wait, can you not wait and run this? Or they could shut something down where they couldn't run the washing machine.
So you'll get an alert that
you can.
The kid has been in the shower for 15 minutes?
Yeah. If you wanted to be alert, there are things that we can alert of.
Yes. Right. Yeah. If you got a household full of kids, I think I'd want to know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. So saving the money on the energy costs, clearly that's a factor. Installing this is relatively simple. That's what you do?
It's what we do.
Yeah.
We build it based on what the customer's needs are. And then...
And it doesn't have to be a new build. I mean, you put these in on anything.
Yeah, it can be a retro job.
And some of this obviously is because the new appliances or pools or whatever, they're smart enabled.
Yeah.
Does this still amaze you? I mean, I'm amazed. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it amazed me when they asked me to control, the coffee maker or the espresso machine to, set up a program where at 7:30 every morning the espresso machine.
Because they want that cup of espresso
when they walk into the kitchen.
Right, and it's there.
Yeah,
sort of like it's a restaurant. I don't have to do anything. Wow, it's just amazing. Well, and again, the process is simple. You'll come, take a look.
Absolutely.
Are we doing a lot of this?
We are doing more than we ever have.
Really? And who's doing it? Who are the customers for this?
So again, there's different platforms. Most everyone can afford the introductory package that we kind of do with a lot of our stuff through our alarm.com control security platform. You can do a lot of your most of your basic automation things, as long as it's within a certain amount of numbers, right? Like you could do, I'd recommend, you could do 10 or so lights, but if you want to do the whole house, we want to step you up to more of a control system, right? If you're wanting to do a couple locks, or if you're wanting to do, a few shades, things like that, then yes, we can do that on a simple platform, and anybody can easily afford that, adding things on as they want to add on. If somebody's wanting to do the whole house control of their TVs and all of their lights and all of the shades,
a little more involved.
Exactly.
Right.
Then, of course, that would take, a little bit more, and of not everybody being able to do that.
Well,
but we can customize based on what somebody's needs, concerns, looks, budgets.
And I'm guessing if you're traveling a good bit, this would be a nice sense of security.
Yes, we do a lot of second homes.
Turn on the lights.
There's also things that we could do with like rental properties. So, talking about the energy savings as well. If you have a rental property and we're putting in the HVAC thermostat unit to be able to control the thermostat, and now you have somebody on vacation that they're on vacation, they don't care. They want to leave the doors open and still keep the air running. Well, that costs a lot of extra money. So we can also set a rule that if the sliding glass door is left open more than 5 minutes, it will slowly start turning off the heat and air unit. So, they're not paying to
that is pretty cool.
Keep the outside cool.
Yeah, and we love our renters. They're all great. But I've seen so many instances when they're not as concerned about the property as we would hope they would be.
Yes, correct.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why is it getting so warm in here? Close the door. Well,
and once that door shuts again, then the air will kick back up.
I think that is great.
Yep.
Again, all of this stuff just sounds like science fiction in many ways, but it's terrific. To find out more, we haven't mentioned your website. Place to start.
Yes. Come check us out at securityvisionmb.com. So that's securityvisionmb for Myrtle Beach.com.
Michele and Kyle, let's do another Behind the Walls, the podcast from Security Vision. Thank you.